Welcome to another episode of How to ABX. Today is 10/18/2023 and it is Paralyze season, as well as Speed Villain Day. So we'll be using Green Goblin with the Red Goblin uniform, sporting a Judgment, and his rotation is pretty simple. It's going to be a 2. You're going to delay to cancel until he does the little slash, 3 delay to cancel until you see the spike, and then you're going to do a 5-4, let your 4 finish. You do a 1 as a filler afterwards. I forgot to put that into the rotation here, but you do want to do a 1 after the first section. Then your next rotation is going to have the 6 ready, so you're going to cancel your 4 into your 6. You will not do a 1 as a filler before you go back to your first rotation. So it's basically that's it. Kind of rinse and repeat. So I'm going to go ahead and show you this in action, and if you want to stick around, I will give you additional information afterwards. He can cancel today, so you don't need to have a striker even though he's a tier 3. And the only other thing to mention is the fact that each character has a rotation that varies, right? We have different people play the characters different ways. There's no one correct way to play these characters. So this is just how I use them, and hopefully you find this helpful and useful for your ABX journey. All right, so we're going to switch right away. Then we're going to do a 2/3 pop 5-4. Let that finish, and then you can do a 1 right at the end as a filler. Little extra damage. 2, 3, 5, 4, 6, and then let your 6 play out. 2, 3, 5, 4. You can use them with a rage. For whatever reason, it seems like Red Goblin does really great when it comes to using a Judgment. And one of the few characters that is a little bit better with a Judgment than a rage, it seems. So use who you want, play how you want. But yeah, if you have a rage on him, you're perfectly fine. You're not going to be losing score if you put a rage on him instead. It's just rages seem to be a little bit more rare, and not a lot of characters can actually use a Judgment. So use them where you can. All right, here's the roar. As I said, you can do the 3. Wait till the paw lifts, and then you can pop your 3. I forgot to do the 2 to start with. Already messing up my rotation. Whenever I talk, it always seems like I mess up that rotation, but that's all right. So here's a 2, and then a 3, 5, 4, 6. Kind of late on the proc. The procs slip off just a bit, but they'll pick back up with that 6 there typically. So I've got my procs off. It's going to be a little bit lower score than normal, but we'll still work with it. We'll still power through it. It'll be fine. All right, now the procs look like they're about back on, so we're good. We're good now. All right, for whatever reason during Paralyze season, it's not 126 for the second roar, it's 116. So we got a little bit of extra time here. Now he's going to do his roar. I'm going to wait for just a second just so I can get this off. As soon as he raises his paw, you can go ahead and do 2, 3, 5, 4, 6. There we go. If your 6 is ready, obviously. If it's not, you let your 4 play out, but we talked about that already. All right, 2, 3, 5, 4. 1. All right, 2, 3, 5, 4, 6. Rinse and repeat. Nice, simple rotation. Does pretty good damage, too. All right, 38's that last roar. I'm going to go ahead and wait since I don't want to start my next rotation. As soon as this paw raises, you can go ahead and go into your rotation. You'll get that cancel off. Start with the 2. Don't start with the 3 like I did the first time. Something I always forget to, sometimes you need to redirect the character so he doesn't do his stomp and interrupt your attack, which he kind of did there when I was doing my 2. That always drives me nuts. That always seems to happen. So you have to move your character around first before you go into the attack. I should be able to do 10 million today. But you get the basic idea. You get the idea of the rotation. You see how I use them. Let's talk about teams. Let's talk about alternate options in case you don't have him, and we'll go from there. So let's see. I always start out with my cards, and I show my cards. I'm not going to go into great detail. You can pause it. You can read them if you want to, just so you know how my account's built, so you can do a comparison if you're wondering why I score more or less than you. Here are my cards. And here are my X swords. All right. Let's go right to Green Goblin, who's a tier 3, like I said. Already a tier 3 does a phenomenal job. Old uniform does pretty good too, but you definitely want to have the Red Goblin uniform. Like I said, a Judgment seems to be better. Here is the details page. So everything important as cap besides for crit rate. I could use a little bit more crit rate. So I might tweak that at some point in the future. I do have 2 Odin's Blessings. Everything else is amplified with 6-star Urus. Let's see, ISO 8 set. I've got Overdrive. Honestly, any of the attack sets are fine. I do have his own artifact. There is not an instinct type match, and I have not re-rolled it. It does increase his overall basic attack, so it is a great artifact to have. And it is a 5-star. It's a +3, so hopefully I can get that up to a +20 one day and get a type match, but I haven't really been pushing it in case he gets replaced. I do have a Mighty Judgment on him, so moving around obviously will charge up that Judgment for that Mighty proc as well, since it has like a double proc on the Reforged Judgments. He has a Mythic Uniform. Let's talk about the team and talk about alternate options and some things you can do for building your team for today. All right, so to begin with, I have Black Cat with her seasonal winter uniform. It's Winter Criminal. So she has this leadership for supervillains, does 65%, ignore targets, dodge by 35. He has a self-lead, so if you can double support him, you'll probably do a little bit better. Not only does he increase all basic attacks by 40%, he ignores target dodge by 40% as well. And he has a built-in damage dealt, so he is both a lead and a support character built in and rolled into one. So I could probably run the same team again and then throw in someone like Mystique, which I probably will do here in a second, just to get some more of that damage dealt. That's probably a better team, and it's probably the meta team today, is probably using his self-leadership with a double support. Craven, you need the Hunter uniform for the newest uniform, Interdimensional Hunter, and that is going to give this uniform effect. I'll just checking. I don't think there's any passives that is given here. But if you go to the uniform effects, Sinister 6 allies increase damage dealt by 35% and increase skill damage by 30%. So he's a specific Sinister 6 supporter. If you want to know if someone is Sinister 6, you just go to their details page and you go over here. You'll see the abilities, and there'll be this little face icon, and then when you select that, it says Sinister 6. So if they have that icon, he helps them. If they don't have that icon, he does nothing for them. So that's probably the meta team today. I'll probably rerun that, like I said, here in a minute. Alternate options, if you do not have Green Goblin's Red Goblin uniform, you can run him with his old uniform, which is not horrible. It's just not as good. Spider-Man No Way Home. You could also run today, let's see, Sin's newest uniform might actually be a really good support option for today too. But until the tokens come out, I'm not going to spend the money. I'm going to wait until I get the free 10 tokens and maybe only spend $20 to get the uniform, since it is a paywall uniform. Corvus Glaive was good back in the day. Electro does not do too bad if you actually have him tiered 3. So those are other options that you can consider running for today. Back in the day, Bullseye was decent, specifically with his Dark Avengers uniform. And aside from that, I don't think I would consider running anyone else. But definitely Green Goblin is the top character for today. So anyway, hopefully that was helpful. As always, may your ABX scores be as high as possible. And just for a little bit of bonus, I'm going to go ahead and run one more time with this other team, just do a comparison, because for whatever reason, I don't know why I had Black Cat there originally. So, yeah, double support's usually a better idea. So let's run that again. You've seen it. I'm just going to focus on getting as high as I can. So, not going to talk during the whole time. I'm just going to focus on trying to get a high score. Oh, that's why. That's right. My Black Cat has an insight. None of my other characters have an insight. That's why I was running with Black Cat. I know now. Makes sense. There's a reason. Let's see if insight's better or damage dealt is better. So might be about the same. All right, he's gonna jump center. Probably should have waited anyway. It's fine. I got a little extra attack in. Never realized there's like a little sound animation in the background of him laughing. On his 6. That's kind of cool. I don't know why well, I always play with the sound out. That's probably why I didn't notice it before. Man, that was a late proc. Alright. Oof. People who play with their sound on probably have heard the laugh before. Yeah, it looks like damage dealt wins again, so... Ooh, I don't know if I have time for one more rotation. I might be okay. Yeah, I did. I pulled that off alright. Sometimes there is a delay on that roar, especially when you're attacking. Is it worth risking? Not always, but it ends up looking like it paid off this time. It saves your team from the last time. There's my 10 million. Saves your team from last time that you ran. And since I was experimenting with Black Cat with the Insight, going back and forth because I used to use her, I think that's why it still had her up. So there we go. 10.3 million seems a lot closer to what I typically like to score. But there you go. You also got a little bit of a comparison video as well. So anyway, thanks for sticking around. Hopefully you watch both of those runs, and I'll catch you in the next one.